we come into number 4, which so with the rest of these here, do you guys just want to talk about them as I bring them up?
You can just say it, and then I'll probably say where it ranks for me.
Okay. Because here's my chaos here. I have number 4 listed in front of me, but I'm thinking about what the words Game of the Year means to me, and I've got to say, nope, number 4 is now number 1.
Now number 1 is now number 4.
I am changing it. So, was formerly number 3, but is now number 4, is Prince of Persia.
That game stinks!
So that one's not number 4 for you.
I've been seeing you guys play
Prince
that.
of Persia is not number 4, yes.
Okay. I feel like that's not my number 3. Personally. But I get why you placed it there.
It was originally my number 3. I'm going rogue at the end here. So, Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown.
Maybe it is 4. I don't know.
So, let me.
It's tough.
Let me start off here with just let's get it out of the way.
Waffling onto.
Yep. We'll get this out of the way. Characters and story, meh. I don't think you were too into it either. Did that change?
I liked certain characters a lot. I think Varum's really cool.
I agree
obviously
with
the main character. I liked what's his name? The guy who teaches you how to do things.
Yes, he was my favorite.
Why am I'm blanking on his name.
I'm not going to think of the name either. It was way early this year. I mean, I played that back in like February.
There's some cool, like if you found them, like if you did 100%, you get to learn some things, which is a fun treat.
It's true.
I think it's good when Metroidvanias do stuff like that. Like Hollow Knight did that too.
Was this the one where you had the issue with the DLC?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
that was my own fault.
And not the quality of the DLC. Quality of the DLC from everything I've heard is fantastic.
Yeah.
I will say that
that's a long story.
That the main character who Sargon.
I like Sargon.
So
he's cool.
I will say that Sargon for me kind of flipped on a switch from being the jerk face punk to suddenly being the caring, compassionate guy. And I felt like I needed more development in between. It just felt so not even by the numbers. It felt like it was by the numbers, but they skipped a couple numbers. I just felt like I felt like they wanted to be okay. We're gonna have development at each like boss thing that happens here, except there weren't enough bosses, so they were like, well, I guess we're gonna have to jump a little bit here.
They could have maybe helped that with like some scenes of like him in the spoiler, him in the sewer area, like maybe reflecting on like where he went wrong or something.
Yeah,
would have been better.
Yeah,
or when you meet
the and when you meet the
fun, but yeah,
for lack of a better way to put it, because I know this isn't what they are, but the clones. I feel like there could have been something that happened there. But again, I know that those are supposed to be kind of not necessarily random encounters, but they're things that not everybody will encounter in the same order. So I get why they didn't do it that way. It could have been done, but it's just it takes a lot of time to do. Which they may not have had. I know that they're really under a lot of pressure here, but anyways, so here's where I've got to go. Is this the best platforming in a Metroidvania? Because man, I think so. I'm willing to go there. I know there's
some sections in Hollow Knight that I liked better.
Mm-hmm.
But I think smoothness wise, this beats it. There was like almost no point where I was like, man, if this was controlled slightly better, I could have got it first try.
It was like butter all the way through. And you know what's crazy is the really platforming is good when I don't care that I'm missing a double jump until the end of the game, because I'm always like, give me the double jump right away. Give me it right away. And it was the last thing they gave us.
That dash is just so good. Because you can like literally like wall jump super fast with it. Which is great. I loved that.
Speaking of which, I just learned yesterday on accident that you can wall jump in Metroid Fusion, and now I want to go back to all the other Metroid games to see if you can do it in those, or if that's just
You can
Fusion.
wall. That started in Super Metroid.
Sick. Yeah. Okay. So it'd just be
and
Super
that
Metroid.
is the hardest one to wall jump in. I have a love-hate relationship with wall jumping in that one, but
boss fights and combat are incredible in this.
Yeah.
And with the platforming, I just want to say that the platforming challenges that you unlock at the end are amazing. And the platforming, it just makes sense that it'd be so good here. And I think it's the magic of this game. But it's the Rayman team who are some of the best in platforming outside of Nintendo. I mean, your platformers outside of Mario really are like Rayman and Astro Bot.
Yeah.
No, I mean they it's of the same quality as those.
It's on the
is
list.
what I'm getting at there. Memory shards are such a cool addition in this. So Matthew, what you can do in this game is you come up to a section and you're like, oh, I don't have what I need here, but I want to remember this place when I get my weapon.
I love that feature.
Or my new ability. But what gets annoying is in some games they'll like tell you like, oh, I bet we can go back to this place now. They don't do that in this game. Instead, you have your pictures and stuff. So you literally just take a snapshot of the screen basically, and it puts it on your map like a little marker. So when I get a new ability, I can go over my map and just kind of scroll over the pictures I took and like, I remember that place. I'm gonna go there now that I have this ability.
Yeah. Nice.
I think that game is an excellent game for like first timers of Metroidvanias because of that feature.
Yeah. Totally.
It's really
I would
lot.
recommend this to someone who hasn't done a Metroidvania.
Yeah.
You guys keep saying Metroidvania, isn't that a song?
Yep.
That's Megalovania. Overrated game.
No.
I know it was overrated as soon as what's that guy Matt Pat gave it to the Pope.
Yeah. Megalovania, I thought that was the one that went bum 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 bum.
I don't know what that song is.
That's the Metroid theme.
Oh. I never played Metroid.
I was being silly.
That's one.
That's everything I had for Prince of Persia.
Yeah, basically some more thoughts. Yeah, I graphically I wasn't super hot on it when I first saw it, but like in motion and playing it, it looks really smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the bosses, like some of those bosses, some of the best bosses in a Metroidvania, in my opinion, really fun. Yeah, specifically, I won't say his name, but KD.
Kevin Durant,
that boss. That's my favorite. Yeah, the movement in that boss is incredible. It's really fun.
Yeah, I'll say the only boss I didn't particularly care for was just the last one, but I think it's because they went too much like, oh, we got to go for the big finish.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
everything else
the classic
I thought was
Super Metroid moment. Yeah. I won't say what it is. Well, I mean, that game's so old.
Yeah.
But anyway. Yeah.
But what I like about the boss fights in this game is that they tend to focus on one particular ability. Granted, because you can do some of it in different orders, it makes a lot of sense to do it that way. But that's always like that's the way to my heart with the boss fight is make it after a specific mechanic and then also make sure that I've got the other ones down. But man, they use those so well. And technically all of your different attacks and stuff like that, or all the abilities you're getting, they're not really for attacking, they're for platforming, but you platform
use them
into
in
your
them.
attacks.
Yeah.
Yes, you use them to set up your attacks, which is what is so.
Some of them are so helpful in combat. They're great. Yeah.
Yep. Last thing I'll say on this one, with characters, with Sargon in particular, again, even though I wasn't hot on him, there are so many people who are, and the biggest Prince of Persia fan I know who literally has Sands of Time posters in his living room,
really?
says that Sargon is his Prince of Persia. Like every time he thinks of the Prince of Persia, he's going to think of Sargon.
Wow!
Spoiler alert! Oh, wait, or Sargon the main character.
Sargon is
the main character.
Yeah.
Fun fact: that's the only one I've ever played is the Sands of Time one, and I think I got stuck on a part, and then I gave up. Which means that there's probably an ability to get that I needed to go past.
Yeah, so many people love that game, and I've never played it, and I need to.
It's like the fifth worst Assassin's Creed. That's Sands of Time for you. I mean, and of course you have the Sands mechanic and stuff, but I'm mostly teasing there. Anyways, anything else on that one, or can I move on?
I feel like we can move on.
My number 2, which is now number 3, Astro Bot.
Astro.
Is this where you had it?
That's the best theme.
I think now that I'm thinking about it, that's a good spot for it. Yeah. It didn't quite get to the game of the year that everybody said it was for me. But it's still an amazing game, and I'm glad I played it. And that DLC they added is it's more of what the base game was and how great that was, which is really cool.
Yep. So with Astro Bot here, what I'm going to do to make this section easy and go through it quickly is just, if you have not played Astro's Playroom, it automatically comes through PS5. Just play it.
And then looking like Bo.
And then take that.
Oh, it's super easy.
Nice. This is probably the best platinum I've seen in a video game. And I felt that way about
that's a lot of people's like first platinum when they get a PS5, and it's, it's super easy, super fun. I recommend it.
Heard cool guys get Shadow of Mordor as the first platinum.
But you get you take Astro's Playroom.
Yeah, I said cool guys.
And then you upgrade it all over the place. So now instead of like having like these super long levels that are like in these sections, it's now broken up a little bit more. It's basically each of the shortest sections are its own level now, but they also have their own gimmick, and the gimmicks in this are so good. They are Nintendo.
I love the gimmicks in it. It's basically a Sony made Nintendo game.
It really feels like it.
Isn't that what they said when they won the award?
It's something you don't really believe it until you actually have it in your hands or you're playing it, but it really does feel that way. It's missing just a little bit of the magic that like a Mario has, but I think that comes from Astro Bot not actually being all that well designed of a character, in my opinion, and the enemies being so
he's not as iconic as Mario,
They're so and the enemies I feel were so repetitive and bland, very samey, but it's because everything's got to be a robot. But anyways, the what was really special about it is and what takes it up a level from Astro's Playroom is my big issue with that game was like, man, I wish it was faster. I wish that these things would go a little bit longer, especially like your little jets. They do in this game. I would say you probably go 40 to 50% faster in this, and you feel it immediately. Nice. This feels so good to play. And I was worried about that. There's sometimes where I still wish I could go a little bit faster, but because of like all the gimmicks and stuff like that, because you've got your different power up for every single level. So cool. Music is crazy. The remix of the God of War theme, it will stay in my head rent free for the next year.
What was your opinion on the post credit scene where Astro Bot, he's playing with the sand castle, and all of a sudden you just see a brown foot come and kick it over, and then if camera pans up at his Sackboy.
Oh, I thought you were just gonna see a brown shoe kick over the sandcastle. You just hear, "It's a me."
Pretty Sackboy, man. He didn't do nothing. Was he done?
That was weird. He actually didn't show up as a character in that game, like as one of the references. There was no.
So they're just getting rid of
actually,
him. No, crazy.
Retract that. There was one.
You seen that meme where he like turns around? He's like. That's how he felt. That's how he felt.
Yeah, I think part of the fun of that game is like the platforming is really solid, and then like all the character references. It was really cool. There's some really weird ones that most people probably won't get, and I didn't get a decent amount of them.
So why do you think that one? Why do you think that one did so highly in the mainstream awards?
I think it was one of the most polished games this year. It has mass appeal. really easy to get into.
Must be Mass Effects, brother.
Well, there is nobody who will not enjoy Astro Bot.
Yeah.
I think it's
the Wukong fans.
the Wukong fans are going to play Astro Bot.
I hate this game, man.
Yeah, they the thing where it's the smiling mask on top, but that they're crying underneath. Yep. It's reverse of that with the Wukong fans playing Astro Bot, where they're all yelling and screaming on the mask, but then they're like really happy underneath it.
They're like, no, I hate this game, and then they go under their cover, and you hear like, dude. You played Astro Bot under there? No.
That's basically what it'd be like. There's nobody who's not going to enjoy Astro Bot, and it is a superb quality game. I think that's why it won Game of the Year at so many places, because it's the thing that everybody can agree on it. That's like, yeah, this is like, everybody's like, yeah, this is my number 2, and you have a couple people who say it's their number 1. So since everybody's like, yeah, I mean, this is top 2 or 3 for me, then that's how it makes it in there.
Nice.
Yeah, mass appeal. But there's nothing wrong with that, because this is still a fantastic game. I can't wait to show this one to
Astro Bot 2.
My nieces. When Theo was older, this is probably going to be his first game. First modern game, at least.
It has to be a Zelda game.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
It's not going to be.
All right, now for the big question.
Shame.
Well, we'll find out what your former number 1 is right now, huh?
My former number 1 was Metaphor Refantazio.
Let's go. It's Helldivers, baby. Helldivers on
1. I'm actually surprised.
So Metaphor was going to be my number 1. And I'll come back to why.
Helldivers is my number 2.
So Metaphor Refantazio, if I'm being clear, I think it's the best game this year, and I think
I need to play that.
It's so solidly number 1. Here's the thing: Astro Bot, Prince of Persia, Indiana Jones, all flat 9s for me.
Wait, you said Metaphor?
They're not in that 9.5. Mm-hmm. Sorry, not Metaphor. Not Metaphor. Astro Bot, Prince of Persia, Indiana Jones, Animal Well, all flat 9s for me. Metaphor is that solid 9.5. I didn't think there was a 10 out of 10 game this year. Nothing on the scale of like Tears of the Kingdom, Baldur's Gate 3, Elden Ring, nothing like that this year. But this is another like 2019 for me. 2019, 2021, where just the best game is still a really fantastic game. Like, this is making my top 5 no matter what year it comes out in.
See, I do have a game that's a 10 this year, but we'll get that later.
Hang on.
So I will. Wait. Yeah, go ahead, Matthew.
Say the name again.
Metaphor Refantazio.
Yeah, it's cool. Oh, wait, darn it.
Refantazio.
Dang it! You're supposed. It worked out better in my head. You're supposed to say Metaphor, and I say no. I haven't. It didn't work out,
3s
though.
and 5s. Yep. Anyways, I'm gonna let Bo talk about this one here, and because sorry. Wait, was Metaphor on your list or no?
Well, I haven't played it all the way. I only played the demo.
Right, that's great.
I really need to get this one because I loved the demo. I will say, like, besides my number 1, I understand why this is a 10 out of 10 just from the demo alone. That's how good that demo was. Like, yeah. If I had the money to go get it, I would have done it. Like, excellent game.
Yep.
So, there you go.
Yeah, this is one that I just can't wait to get back to. And finally finish it. I'll go quickly through this. The premise is kind of incredible. You would think that in a world that is so heavy and annoying with its politics, that a game that features heavily politics would suck, but it absolutely doesn't. It does it in such a clever way that never preaches at you, but does make you consider a few things about the way that different systems are, or understanding other people's point of view on things. But it's also more focused on the drama of the rise to power and stuff like that. The people that we put our trust in. I think it's very well done there. The style, you just have to watch a single trailer and you understand the style of this game. I don't need to go into any more. What you see is what you get. The music
Style's very unique.
Yeah, the music is fantastic.
The
Everybody
menu
is
incredible.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like,
the menus,
what even? Pay this dude all the money.
Yeah. Characters are so deep compared to what I get in Persona games, where in Persona games I feel like I'm getting like an archetype with each character. With these ones, even though it's ironic because you have the system of archetypes in this game, which is like here's your type of fighters and stuff like that. They did not go with archetypes for your party members in terms of like their characters and development. You get a little bit of it with like Stroll. You get earlier on where you're like, okay, is this our Ryuji or is this our Junpei? More like Stupe, Ace Defective. Sorry,
that's the best joke.
That game did not make my list this year because it's a remake, without being like a change it up remake. But
that's true.
Anyways, but it said it twisted on its head a little bit. Really unique characters. Heisme with the stuff going on with Heisme, hit me so hard because I was playing this right after Theo was born. Like I would set him down in his crib and I would come back and I'd play the Heisme parts and they hit me like an absolute truck. And I bet this is one of the few games that has ever made me cry. I think maybe the game. I don't know if I've cried in another
cried during
video
open
game.
season one time.
That's
so funny. I opened up to you guys.
And then combat, it's your it takes your typical turn-based combat, except what if instead of random encounters you got to fight for a chance to not have to do it. And that is really great because I get so tired of just fight after fight after fight after fight. Wouldn't it be nice if it knows that I'm just going to duff these enemies, that it would just let me take them out of the overworld? And you can.
Yep.
And I love it for it.
Yeah, that's one of the best inventions
they're not the first
in the game.
They're not the first to do it, but I think they've done it the best and most balanced here. Archetypes really are a game changer that you really don't get the real meat of it until later on. But what the archetypes do is it's like your typical like knight, thief, kind of your what would you call it? Like typically party members in RPGs have one of those type of archetypes, but they don't call them that, like class. But in this, if you put that archetype on top of someone, they get certain boosts to their abilities, or they'll get special unique abilities that they get for exploring that path and stuff like that. So you can come up with some really interesting combinations between people, and some of them play off of each other. Like if you have this archetype on one person and this one on another, then they get to do some really special techniques together. That's all super cool. My one gripe with this game is that it's just not Persona 5 Royal. which to me is still the best Atlas game. And which is silly. Two totally different types of games, even though they're in the same genre. But there was something about the day-to-day in that was so stress-free, that was so easygoing, but was also so fun. And in this one, I do feel like sometimes the fun is lost in it, because they are going so much for style and tone and message in this. Sometimes I lose the fun a little bit in it, where I think like, okay, you've got a little bit too much going on in some of this day-to-day stuff. I feel like the days take longer to go through than they do in the Persona games. And I kind of there's a lot of times where I wish we kind of just get to the point of what you're doing here. I feel like a lot of things kind of drag on. So that's the only thing that I hit it with here. But again, a 9.5 is like, I mean, for context, there's only 25, maybe 26 games ever all time that I would say are 10 out of 10. So like, we're still looking at a top 100 game of all time with this.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All right. Before I talk about my number one, did anybody want to shout out the Erdtree? Was that on your list?
That's my number one.
I put it as number two just because, well, I'm debating because technically it's a expansion, but I'm liking it. I'm liking it.
I'm gonna fight for it for the full game.
And I will allow it. I'm just gonna say real quick that it being an expansion is why it's not included on mine. However, I fully respect everyone who says that it should count as its own game, because people need to realize that games are different now. Because you have to open up another game to open this one does not make this any less of a game, because literally there are multiple games out right now, like Fortnite, where if I want to play Rocket Racing, I don't open up Rocket Racing. I open up Fortnite, and then I have to go over to Rocket Racing. Or you have all these games that are launches for other games inside of it, and these are all full games. These had full developments and things like that. That's just the way that games are now. I think we need to stop thinking about it doesn't have its own box. Anyways.
Yeah.
But go on.
Well, I feel like we should talk about
includes expansion Shadow of the Erdtree.
But when an expansion is that large and that quality, that you need to, like, you start to ask yourself, is this game of the year, even though it's an expansion, is a feat in and of itself, and does beg the question, should it count?
Now I got a question here. It says on the back of the box, guided by Empyrean Mikola, huh? What was with that? It's not kindly Mikola the kind, huh? I'm stuck between this or Helldivers for my game of the year.
Yeah,
because
personally, I think once you get through it, you'll say that's your game of the year.
Yeah, I was going to do a tie. Because
Helldivers II has fun moments, but I think if I'm like talking about games as like, I think this transcends like so many different it's
different. It's a one in a lifetime experience.
How do I say this? Yeah, the feel when you're in this world, it's so incredible, because like you go in and there's just, I don't want to spoil too much, but like the curtain thing with, you know, this like decayed tree, and like it's just wide open field with, you know, grain or flowers or whatever, and and that feeling of just like the expanse and like just the feel of the world continues out throughout the whole DLC, and it's just incredible. Like when you have to see it to understand it, because and you haven't gotten to this point yet, but there is this point, we're coming up to it in the game. We're playing with Matthew through it again.
That's me.
Where
just so the people know.
Yeah, you get to it and it's like, man, this has that exact same feel for me as Dark Souls 1 did, where it's just like this overlapping world design. That is just, it's mind-blowing. It's incredible.
I think
they interlinked these places together.
If I remember correctly, I believe I talked to the egg boy and I launched in, and I remember we were playing, I think my first word, I was like, whoa, because it's like when you first walk out into
that first feeling,
because when you first walk out in the Elden Ring, it doesn't quite have that same feel. You still get to see like the wide look of everything, but like when you walk into the Erdtree DLC, it's like we got the biggest, and everything's a lot more like what's the term? What's it like? I don't think monotone is the word. Like it's a lot more like the colors are a lot more flat.
Style, yeah.
And like you just look up, and then there's like the thing that I still like is all like the veils hanging. Like it seems like veils hanging down,
and the particles. Like
yeah,
it reminds me of Twilight Princess, but like in a different way. Like it's like you took that effect and made like this modern version of it.
Yeah, and the main thing
just
that I like is I can follow the story with like no guide. I don't need a guide. I don't gotta, because that's the one thing about the Elden Ring is that I just don't know what's going on. Like I know that we're going to fight people, and I know like the gist of what I'm doing, but I like it. It's not as much of a like. There's not really the narrative I'm used to in games.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I think they definitely stepped it up with the narrative on Erdtree.
You know what I'm actually thinking? I might put Erdtree number 1 because when I think about it,
nice. I converted you.
What's that guy? Well, what's the game? Helldivers. I wonder
Helldivers
how
2.
much of it, because I was playing solo by myself to try to remember the controls, and it is not nearly as fun as when you have people to play with. But and it's not like a regular game where like any game you play with people will be fun. It's like when you play Helldivers with people, it's like you make like moment after moment after moment playing.
Yeah, that game is just full of a bunch of like amazing moments, and like some of it's just like a glitch that happens in that game, or just like some funny thing that happens where like you accidentally killed your whole team because you put a stratagem in the middle of the group.
It like bounces off of something, and then.
Or everybody's trying to leave the planet and you just shoot an RPG into the den and blow up everybody in their seats.
Or, man, I should probably give you this clip, Matthew. Maybe you could put it here. There's this time where the ship is coming in, and I put down an Eagle 500 kg, and it blew up the ship just the right way where it glitched and we couldn't get on board the ship. Oh,
nice.
It is easily one of the funniest things I've ever had happen in a game.
I want to put all the clips together from that game and put it on as a little.
We need to, yeah. We need to.
It's so good.
But yeah, so long story short, I think me and Nate, I'm gonna put because right now they're equal. I think what's gonna put Erdtree up one more is just being able to. I can actually follow the story.
Yeah, Helldivers 2 has a story, but it's more like in the background.
Well, like I mean, like compared to Elden Ring.
Oh yeah, that too.
Wait, Shadow of the Erdtree, I will say that if I was considering it, it would be my number 1. And my personal reason for not including it is because when I look back at Elden Ring, I will be including Shadow of the Erdtree as part of what I consider the game. That's the reason. If it was distinct enough,
that's true.
That I wasn't that. If I go and talk about Elden Ring, then I'm going to talk about, I'm going to talk about. I'm just going to throw out names that mean nothing to nobody. I'm going to be thinking about Mesmer. I'm going to be thinking about Bale. And I don't think I can separate that from base Elden Ring anymore.
That's fair.
I'm going to be thinking about traveling all those different areas and how vertical and how intense Shadow of the Erdtree got. And I'm going to be thinking about, man, Elden Ring was so good. That's why, personally, for me, it's not included here. But I 100% understand and respect and applaud anyone who includes it on their list.
Clap for us.
Yeah, I think the size of it and like just how different it is from the base game is why I can, like, if I just took that by itself away from base game Elden Ring, it's like, this is the best FromSoft game I've ever played. Like that's why I did it. It's like yeah, they're connected, and I'll always think of them as connected, but it's like this is my favorite thing they've ever done. Hands down.
Nice. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, I gotta bounce for 1 second. You guys can talk about your
Well, if that's Shadow of the Erdtree, then the last thing I have is Helldivers 2.
All right. Because I gotta grab some real quick.
My number 2.
All right.
And I guess you're number 1.
And it was a close. It was like
one.
For me, it was like this. You know,
They are. I do like both of them a lot.
Because I think Helldivers.
They had excellent time with both of them.
I don't consider Elden Ring a multiplayer game. It's a game that has multiplayer. No. But Helldivers, Helldivers 2, I think is the best multiplayer game ever.
It's definitely. Oh yeah.
Because and I might need to rack my brain to see if I can think of any more. But
are we just forgetting that Smash Bros. Melee existed?
Yeah.
I would put Melee above Helldivers 2. Myself.
For me, and I might need to look back, but the joy that I get from playing, or the feeling I experience from playing Helldivers, nothing else matches it.
Kirby Air Ride.
I do like Kirby Air Ride a lot, but I don't think I'd put it up there with Melee.
I don't think I would either. Last I checked, there's. It's just fun, man. It's like
I'd maybe put Mario Kart up there. Double Dash, Mario Kart.
I'll stick by it until I can look at and see what else I played. But I think it's a 1 out of 1 experience. Well, actually, 100%. Wait. What's this new one that came out?
This new what? Oh, you're talking about Space Marine 2?
Yeah. Is it true what they say?
It has an actual campaign. It's still a PvE kind of campaign, so you can co-op people and do it the same kind of way you would play Helldivers. But
we play that one too.
But
maybe we can play it after Elden Ring.
Well, we still have to play Marvel Rivals.
Oh yeah, after.
We'll see. We'll see.
One will be there forever.
Yeah,
for a long time.
Yeah. Let me. Well, we can never be certain with some of these multiplayer games, especially the ones that are more live servicey. Because sometimes they go up after spending $600 million on it, and then it gets taken down in less than 2 weeks, and saying, "Oh, it'll be back," and then they actually just cancel it.
Yeah, are you guys have enough to talk about while I go do something real quick, or
yeah, I'll talk through my thoughts on Helldivers 2 here, since that is my game of the year here. And
I want to hear your thoughts.
I'm just gonna hit the bullet points here because we have run so long on this.
We are definitely splitting this up. There's no way we're putting it on one.
This is painfully long even to me, let alone to somebody who's actually going to listen to this. Helldivers 2. Maybe it'll be something where we just clip out and talk about, like, clip the games.
I think we could clip out, like we do the Xbox clip out, and then we clip out the stuff before our top 4, and then we do a top 4.
Yeah,
I could make some shorter videos too. Anyway, continue.
Yeah. Helldivers 2. I'm just going to read through the bullet points I have here. Number 1, multiplayer hijinks. What? And because the game is so hardcore, it makes it funnier when things go wrong.
Yes.
And that's a really difficult balance to strike. Most times when things are going wrong, I'm just frustrated. I'm like, oh my word, I can't believe that happened again. Why are my teammates being so stupid? But in this, you just have to laugh. And part of what helps with that is that you do have group lives. And when those run out, it's not totally done. You can still kind of come back afterwards, but you have to really pull off a lot of real clutch moments with it.
That's very rare to get a full wipe.
Yeah.
Every once in a while you do. Depends on what difficulty you're on.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. And us, we like to hang out kind of, I think around Extreme is where we were. We never went up to the
slightly. Well, the one like above it, we did a little bit Suicide.
Oh, we did a little bit of Suicide. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, really just to get the find those.
We'll try Impossible.
Yeah.
I did a little bit of Impossible. It's definitely harder, but it's not like unmanageable.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, all things that go wrong, and a lot of the things that they will let you mess with, I'm really a fan of. They've made a couple changes that I'm not as big on because they don't want people cheesing certain sections. Like there's certain rock formations you can't land on anymore, which I used to just hang up there and just.
That was fun.
It was a lot of fun. I wish
miss
they
that.
hadn't patched it. But the number of things they will still let you do are great. My next bullet point is democracy. I love that
Democracy
they
memes are so
lean
good.
so far into it. They're so funny. The fact that like they're telling you in the middle of the game to be like, hey, report possible dissenters and stuff like that to your supervising officer and stuff like that. You try to like if you walk out of bounds, they'll be like, hey, that's not very patriotic of you. And they start to click down the counter and they'll be like, yeah, you're gonna get launched out into space for dissension.
Yeah.
And you can actually
Well, yeah,
you can
it
actually
says
get like a
something like
temporary
too. Yeah.
Yeah, you get a short ban for going out of bounds and staying out. Like they commit to it. It's pretty good. But plus all the ARG kind of stuff that they do online, where they'll be like, "Hey, we have this log coming in. People are saying that they're seeing stuff about flying bugs, and that's silly because we all know bugs don't fly. If you see anybody talking about flying bugs, report them to your, education officer or whoever, so that they can go into re-education camp."
I love
And
the
then
guy
there
that
are flying
stands by
bugs
the
literally a
table.
week
I
later.
forget his name, but the like commanding officer dude. He has some of the funniest quotes.
It's so good.
I don't remember the quote fully, but the one about bread or whatever, he's like, "Democracy is the bread." I have to look it up. He has a couple funny ones where it's just like, this is absolutely ridiculous, but it's so great.
Yep. Yeah, that's so great. And what all the things they do online and them doing the updates and keeping in character when they do their posts on Twitter and stuff like that. And then my next bullet point on here is bum 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 bum.
Is it left or right hand?
Right hand.
Oh.
Bum, 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 bum,
Oh, this is my right hand.
bum, 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 bum.
That's
That was the greatest moment in video game history when that dude came out for the to
Game
announce,
Awards. Oh,
to announce
so
an update.
Yeah, that's so good. Their updates have all been really
and it's a great
fantastic.
update.
Yeah.
Yep.
Why don't we play
It's a lot
Helldivers
of fun.
2?
And then
We need to do that too.
here's the thing. I'm ready to play as soon as you guys are. I don't know how, but I'm starting to get burned out on Elden Ring, but I'm in it for the long haul.
Do you
So
have
whenever
time
guys are done
today to
with
play
it,
or no?
with how late this is going, I don't know. It's gonna be pretty short. We'll see. And then last bullet point I have for this is procedural generation done well. Procedural generation is my least favorite thing about maps in video games. I think usually it is very lazy. I'm not saying everybody who does it is lazy, but I'm saying most people do. But this game does it so well. It makes sense to do it and it keeps it fresh, because it's not about exploring new things about the world here, because that's what you're doing in everything else you do. When you're in the world, it is, no, I'm here to find the things and extract, or else I'm going to
And
die.
maybe kick a little butt
Five
along
things
the way.
do the objectives, leave.
Yes, and they
The battle is
they
the best
have it
part.
set down that you're not going to get something really stupid in your way that's just so obtuse that it's like, oh, this is a wash, which can happen in some other games. And you can also get some really funny things that happen from that. But yeah, I think it stays fresh even after playing, I don't know how many dozens of hours we have in there, but that game still feels fresh and new to me. Really fantastic stuff. The reason this is my game of the year and why I switched it right at the end was the entire time leading up to it, I'm like, if I'm talking about the quality of this game, I think it's number 4 on my list for the year. The thing is, every time I look back on 2024 from here on out, and I'm thinking of like, what was the game of that year? I'm gonna look back. I'm gonna say Helldivers 2.
We
I
played
think
this a lot. A lot.
I think it's the 4th best game of the year, but it's the one that's going to stand the test of time for me, where I'm going to look back at that one so fondly and still be playing it, and I'm going to look back and be like, that was one of the best times of my life. Like, I'm going to look back on it like I did with Rocket League, Where when I first played Rocket League, I was like, I don't know if this is anything special, but every time I look back on playing Rocket League now, I'm like, that was an era. And Helldivers 2 is just one of those games. And just what a moment for this small team.
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah, totally.
really amazing
To go
stuff.
from like a tactical game to this is incredible.
Yeah.
That was the biggest shock
what a-
when I
what a jump.
when I looked at what the first one was.
Oh, right.
I was like, huh?
Absolutely. And they
Yeah.
had to sell me on this game. I was not interested at first. I heard word of mouth that people were like, dude, just the absolute chaos. You need to get in there. And I'm like, I am an agent of chaos.
People, yeah.
I am the kind of guy
play it.
Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, easily, if I'm being true to myself, and I'm not just going off of what is literally the best game that came out this year. If we were doing like award show style and its best, best game as a category, I'm going Metaphor Refantazio. But if I'm saying what is my game of the year, that'd be Helldrivers 2.
There you go.
All right. Well, this was a big year for gaming. Let's downsize a little bit for some mini games. Huh?
Ooh.
Yeah. Didn't think about that, did you? Unless you guys want to keep going.
Let's do it. Let's
All right.
rip things out. What game are we playing?
We're going to do another 21 questions just because I thought of a good game that I don't know if you guys will guess or not. I believe all of you have heard of this. Both of you have heard of this game. To break down the rules for the viewers, they get 21 questions to guess what game I'm thinking of. Yes or no questions. If they guess the game wrong, they lose. So if they ask 10 questions and they think they know what it is and they guess and they get wrong, then one of them loses a limb. All right, I've got my game and I've got the wiki pulled up, so I can make sure that my facts are accurate.
All right.
Alrighty, and I've got a thing here on the side to count. Who would like to
Is
take
it
it
older?
Can I start?
Yeah, you go first. Okay.
We're going the same direction, but I'm going to pick an interesting year with this one because of who picked the game. So usually I would ask if this came out before 2001 because that's like PlayStation 2, GameCube, Xbox is kind of like the next era there. But because this is Matthew, I'm going to go a little bit further to get a little more down the middle with what he would pick from. So I'm going to ask if this came out before 2006.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
All right. So we still have that GameCube, PlayStation, Xbox era there. But we can dial it down further in terms of year if we want to.
Yeah. Is it part of the GameCube PS2 era?
You mean like the years?
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you think like console generation, like the GameCube, PS2, Xbox original.
Yeah, it's in that era.
Okay. All right. So we're looking at 2001 and on between 2001 and 2006.
Yes.
So all right, that's pretty narrowed down. So, is this game a platform exclusive? Meaning, like, is it only on Nintendo branded consoles? Is it only on Xbox?
It is a platform.
It is a platform exclusive. Okay. The reason I say platform exclusive instead of console exclusive is because of PC.
Okay.
By the way, in case you're ever curious. Okay.
All right, that's 3 down.
Is it a Nintendo game?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And for reference, I thought as soon as we were done playing last week, this game came into my mind.
Oh, really?
So I was like,
can I ask a very specific question, Bo? Can I be a little silly here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is there a giant egg in this game?
No.
Oh,
I don't believe so.
well,
I don't believe so.
Oh, that's true. Well,
We said platform exclusive.
Right. Yes. Yeah. It is only on Nintendo. But when Matthew, when you answered for Bo, were you saying that it is made by Nintendo or that the console it was on was Nintendo?
Huh? What was his question?
Bo asked if it was a Nintendo game Matthew, were you answering as it was published by Nintendo or that it was on a Nintendo console?
I just said yes. Was it a Nintendo game? Yes. You're not getting no handouts from me, pal.
Okay.
Okay, I guess we got to be more
You
specific.
gotta use another question.
Okay, so it's not that one.
Okay, yeah, it's not Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg.
Nope.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It'll be a hard one, I think.
So this
Is it a third-party developer that made it?
The developer. Let me. I believe.
First party
I
would be
believe.
considered Nintendo
Okay.
in this case.
Then yes, it was third party.
Okay.
Wait.
All right. So
Hang
Billy
on.
Hatcher's back on the menu, except no Giant Egg.
The wiki does not say. It says it is not first party.
Which means it's also not Battle for Volcano Island. But that's also multi-platform.
Mhm.
It's also there's no way. It's also not Mario Kart. For multiple
I think I know
reasons.
what game it is. I just thought of what we were talking about last time. But I won't say it because I don't know for sure yet.
Well, I think you've got the next question, right?
That
Or
was
did you ask the last one?
You
Oh,
have
what
asked
did
it.
you ask?
I asked if it was third party.
Oh, yes. Okay, so
Yeah.
Okay, it is third party. Was this game developed in Japan?
Yes.
All right, so we're looking at a Sega, Konami, Bandai Namco. Namco might be interesting.
Well, that leads into what I was thinking.
Yes, a
Was this developed
non-first
by
party game.
Was
that
this
was
developed by
made.
Sega?
No.
Not developed by
Okay.
Sega. Okay.
Which is funny because we were talking about Sonic last time.
I
That's
would
why
never pick a
I
Sonic
was
game
like-
on this. It'd be too, unless it was Sonic
Okay.
keyboard, whatever that game was.
Okay. Okay. So, how many questions are we at?
You're on your 9th question, whatever your next
Next
one
question.
is.
Okay.
Okay.
So we've got a couple routes that we can go down here. We can try to narrow down by genre, or
Mhm.
we could we could continue down the developer kind of train. I was considering asking about if it was published by Nintendo. I think that would technically make it second party.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if we could go down that road.
yeah. Let's skip that one. So like Chibi Robo and stuff. That would be considered third party. That'd be considered second party. Because
Yeah,
it's still
it's not
published
first
by
party.
Nintendo. So let's go. Do you shoot a gun in this game?
Yeah, that's a
Oh.
good question.
No. Okay.
Mm.
Okay. So that's going to cut out. That's going to cut out all Resident Evils. That's going to cut out Matrix. That's going to cut out Solid Snake, or Twin Snakes. That's it.
Yeah.
And we know it's not Sega.
Yeah.
So what's that leaving up for third parties? So if I'm thinking of GameCube, actually, I guess we did assume that it was GameCube. It could possibly be Game Boy Advance as well, and
Yeah, that's
maybe
true.
early DS, because it's kind of screwed the lines a little bit.
Should I ask? Well, I guess I can't do that. I was gonna ask what I should ask. I'll just go for it.
We
Was
can
it
ask each
on-
other.
Oh, I thought that was against the rules.
No. We can
Okay.
collaborate with each other.
Should I ask about what console it was on? Just
Yeah.
narrow it
If we
down.
want to see if this was a handheld or something like that, that'd be all right.
Was this on the GameCube?
No.
All right, so we're
There you
looking at a handheld. Okay, so that flips things around a little.
Technically, the Wii came out in
Um,
2006.
But we asked if it came out before 2006, and you said yes.
Oh, yeah. It's
So
not,
it's not on the Wii. So this is a handheld. So we're looking at this 2004 to 2005 early DS games, or is it 2005 the DS came out?
I don't know. I didn't have a DS.
Well, it was DS or early DS, most likely GBA is
I think
what
it's
we're looking
GBA
at
he's
here.
talking about.
In a third-party game, so if we're looking at third-party Game Boy Advance games not developed by Sega, we're narrowing the list quite a bit here. We do have Namco, who has their Pac-Man collection. We have ports. We wouldn't do ports, so no Gyro Kung Fu or anything like that. What are the big third parties? There's the Mega Man games.
Castlevania.
From Capcom. Castlevania from Konami. Yeah. And this developer is Japanese, so
Golden
I
Sun.
believe so.
Song or
Let's
two.
see. Let me click. Yep, it's Japanese. All right.
So I
Don't get more Japanese than that.
is it I am so I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna ask two in one here. So this is Matthew. This is still a yes or no question.
Oh, I wonder if I
Was
think I might know
this
what it could be.
was this developed by Capcom or Konami? No. Okay, so it's no Mega Man, no Castlevanias, nothing like that. Okay. So who are we looking at left? We've got Namco. I don't know if Bandai was doing things yet. So there's a bunch of anime kind of games there. We've got your Bleach, we've got your I guess this early on we still have Atari games, huh? Atari publishing games on the Game Boy Advance. You have the Legacy of Goku games, and all of those Dragon Ball Zs. And what else
I'm
do we
just
have
gonna
with
ask
third
it.
party there? Go for it.
Is that a Dragon Ball Z game?
Nope.
Dang. I thought for sure, like, maybe, but all right.
For
Maybe
genre,
that's too specific so far.
for genre, is this a fighting or platformer game?
Yes.
Okay, so it's some kind of fighting or some kind of platformer, which is good because that eliminates all the RPGs, all the mini games kind of games. And we're looking still for third party, so this could still be an anime type game that's just not. Oh man, there's also if we really want to dig deep into the Duffy, there's like Godzilla licensed games and stuff like that. I couldn't name one of them, but
this is one you guys should. I believe this is one you guys should be able to name.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, man, this is tough.
That is tough. Yeah.
How many questions are we at?
You've asked 13.
Oh wow.
All right. Yeah, and you've got the next question when you think of some about, but I am.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what to ask.
We're looking for a Game Boy game. Game Boy Advance.
I'll give you a hint when you get to your last 5 questions.
Okay. I had a weird idea. I don't remember if it's technically developed by Nintendo. Oh no, I think it is developed by Nintendo. I was gonna say Advance Wars.
Advance Wars is it is published by Nintendo. I don't think it was developed internally, but it's the same as like a Chibi-Robo and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
I cannot for some reason.
Should we narrow down between fighting and platformer?
Sure, yeah, I can do that. Is it a fighting game?
No.
All right, so this is a platformer. Which is good. Platformers we should know. But it's a platformer that is not Nintendo developed or published on the Game Boy Advance. We're looking at maybe a licensed game.
Did you say Konami already?
Yeah, it's not Konami. It's not Konami. Okay, so it's not Capcom either. Wow. I feel like we need to. There is a lot of shovelware on the GBA, especially licensed platformers. I kind of want to go the licensed route with this. Matthew, is this a licensed game?
No.
Okay, so this is.
I'm gonna give you a hint. So I said it's not first party, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's third party.
So this is a game that it was published by Nintendo.
Yes.
What?
I'll count that as a question.
What?
I'm counting that as a question. I'm just kidding.
It was a question we asked earlier, and you just
a trick question.
No, you asked if it was developed by Nintendo.
We did not ask actually.
Yeah,
no, you
I promise. I promise, because I'm even looking right here, and it says developed by, published by. It's all.
Okay, so this is published by Nintendo, but not developed by them. So,
and it's a platformer.
Yeah. Man. It's a platformer. Well, so it's not going to be. Oh man, platformer. Published by Nintendo, but not developed by Nintendo. Oh boy. This is tough. I mean, there we have Kid Icarus.
Did Nintendo develop the Kirby games?
HAL is part of Nintendo. Yeah.
Them.
Yeah, HAL is part of Nintendo. Well,
okay.
Actually, hold up.
Had they bought them at that point?
HAL might actually still be independent. No. HAL is currently owned by Nintendo.
Currently, yeah. But like by this time, were they owned?
I don't think Matthew would have a way to find that.
No, I don't. I'm not asking as a question. I'm just talking about it.
Oh, gotcha. I don't know if they were at this time.
Should we ask?
I don't think they actually informed.
I don't think it is.
Oh, here's a question. Does this game contain a character that is in a Smash Bros?
Yes.
Okay, so we could be looking at a Kirby.
Okay.
This could also be. Sorry, I'm getting a lot of messages.
Yeah, we've got Kirby. We've got what other platformers were on GBA? It's like Wario, but I'm pretty sure that was made by Nintendo. Man, that's tough.
You've asked 17 questions.
Yeah. Ah, man.
Sorry, what was the last thing you asked there? I was taking care of something.
Oh, we didn't ask. I didn't ask anything. I was just talking about it
out loud. Okay.
Yeah, the only I'm pretty sure Wario was made by Nintendo, so that probably wouldn't count.
But yeah, it was definitely yeah, so that it's not gonna be that.
Gosh. What's another platformer?
So we've got Kirby, we've got Kid Icarus because Pit was in Smash Bros.
There wasn't a Kid Icarus. I'm pretty sure there wasn't a. Well, there
the big one is on Game Boy Advance? They had it on Game Boy Advance.
The NES game. You're thinking of the DS game for the newer Kid Icarus.
Okay, I thought there was one Game Boy Advance, but I must be mistaken.
Okay.
So I always did use Kid Icarus and Golden Sun, so maybe that's what I'm thinking. I've still got that in my brain.
We've got Kid Icarus and Kirby.
Because that would be a game that came out earlier than 2000.
I don't think it's Kid Icarus because I'm pretty sure Nintendo made that one.
No, although this can be a DS game.
Blast was a Game Boy Advance game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
never mind.
Just take the shot and ask if it's a Kirby game.
Yeah, is this a Kirby game?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, 19. You got 3 more questions.
2 more questions.
2 more questions.
Okay. And we have to guess the game within 21 is the point. So we've got to really narrow this down. So okay. So what Kirby games are on Game Boy Advance? So I know there's one. I don't know if I'm ever going to come to the name of it, but it's. I can see the cover art for it. It's purple with pink Kirby right there, and it's got. Oh man. Oh man.
Squeak Squad on GBA.
What's that?
Was Squeak Squad on GBA?
Squeak Squat?
Squeak Squad. Or am I thinking? Or is that a later one? That might be a later one.
That must be later. I've never heard of it. There's no way it's just called Kirby Advance, right? That'd be so weird. No, it's not. It's not gonna be that. It's gonna be.
Nah.
It's gonna have something to do with Dreamland. It's not gonna be Return to Dreamland because that was DS.
Didn't he just return to Dreamland on the Switch?
I
never played any of the Kirby's on GBA, so this is really tough.
This is a tough one. I don't know if we're getting this one. But let's.
No, it's fine. I've heard of it probably, but I just don't.
Well, is this in the Dreamland sub series of Kirby?
Yes.
Okay, so it has something. It's got Dreamland in the title. I just don't know if it's because Kirby's Dreamland was just the original Kirby. There's Return to Dreamland, which I thought was a DS game. Unless that one in itself is a port or remake of the Game Boy Advance one.
I really don't know.
Man.
Yeah, this is where I'm stuck. I really don't know.
Oh. Was there a Nightmare in Dreamland? Man, if I pulled that out the end here, that'd be so cool. But
there might be.
Here's the thing: is that might be just an episode of the Kirby show. But man,
in fact, there's a Kirby
Nightmare...
right back at your Wendy's Happy Meal board game.
That's a good show.
Well, so we've got one because we're at number 21 here, right? So this has to be.
You're at 20. So this next question you ask will be 20.
Oh, okay. Well,
did we ask if it had Dreamland in the title yet?
Yeah.
It is in the Dreamland sub-series.
We did. Okay.
So,
what's the one on SNES?
Oh, but it's not a port.
It's not a port? Did we ask that?
Because it came out originally after 2000. We asked if it came out after 2000, so it wouldn't be it wouldn't be a port. But the one on SNES was Dreamland.
I know there's a multiplayer Kirby on the GBA. I don't know what it's called though.
There's actually 2 multiplayer ones.
Oh, there is.
Ones.
Dang.
Snap.
Fun fact, I've beaten this game before.
Oh, there you go. Dig into your memories and all.
I don't remember him having a Kirby game, is the thing. Outside of DS. Wow. Well, here's the thing. I know he wouldn't have had a Return to Dreamland. I kind of want to shoot for the guess with Nightmare in Dreamland, but I don't know if that's right. I don't know if we're ever going to get the title of this is the problem.
I don't think we will. That's where I'm really stuck.
Should we resign to it and just throw out the guess? All right. Is this Nightmare in Dreamland?
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah.
Nightmare in Dreamland.
It is.
Wait,
we got it. We got it.
It's backwards for me.
Oh,
I don't know
you.
if it's forward for you or not.
Yeah,
I can't believe we got that.
And How Laboratory
believe we
developed
did.
it, and they are a second-party development studio.
Yes.
To the wiki.
Yep. So the second party is so
the one
difficult to
you're
explain.
thinking of was Kirby and the Magic Mirror. Was the
one
with all the Kirbys?
Nightmare in Dreamland.
Yes.
Good job.
Oh, I can't believe we pulled that right at the end there.
Because it's a remake
go,
of the
team.
original. It's not a port.
Yep, it's a total remake, not a port. Yep.
Yep, and I
Man,
beat that
I don't
game.
know
Right on.
how you guessed that title. You must have remembered it subconsciously because I had no idea.
We'll
All right.
And then
Yeah, we
we'll
can-
add
That's going to
around
do
that.
it for this episode of the Uncle Cyborg Show. Remember that you can be a part of what we do here by liking and subscribing, and you can comment answering our question of the week for a chance to get a shout out to begin our next episode. This week, we're asking you, what game coming out in 2025 are you most excited for, and why? That's going to do it for this week. Thanks for joining us. I've been Dat Boy Few, also known as Matthew Hot Dog Eater. That's Hyrule King, and that's Super Nolan Man, and we'll see you next week.
GTA 6 because I'm basic.